everybody. Welcome to Hallmarkies podcast, and it's going to be fun. We're talking about Hallmark movies, talking about a Hallmark show. We're talking about a Netflix movie. It's all crazy. It's going to be a blast, and I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Haley Strong is here.
Hello. Hi.
Sorry, we're laughing because most people know if you listened to the podcast with Haley, know that she only watches about 6 movies a year, and I try to monopolize on those picks by giving her the finest of films.
Yeah, and I feel like I am like hitting the big leagues now. You're not just inviting me for like specifically reality TV centric movies. You're just like, hey, like this you've got to come for this. I'm like, all right, I'm in. So like the majority of the movies I have seen this year are either Hallmark movies or the first 2 installments of the Now You See Me franchise.
Okay, yeah. Have you seen those previous?
No, I haven't. It was just like a free Sunday night, and my husband was like, boy, do I have the movie for you.
Oh, what'd you think?
I like them. Honestly, I like them enough that I'm willing to go see the third one in theaters.
Okay. Wow, that's a big step.
It is a big step because I only see like 1 movie a year in theaters.
So that's gonna be the pick. Now You See Me 3.
Probably
yeah. Well, yeah, I wasn't like super hopeful about this Love in the Clouds, but I didn't think it was not
be
my
as
favorite.
Bad as it was.
I didn't think it would be as bad as it was. It was an all-timer bad. Sorry for all involved. It's just an opinion. I just did not enjoy it, and we'll talk about it. But luckily, Netflix had a movie this weekend, and you had time, and it was all the way to work out because I really enjoyed Nonnas. Did you like it?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to.
You didn't watch it?
I didn't. No, sorry. I got distracted immediately. But I am happy to watch it. I'm going to.
Well, I'll just share.
Tell me about it. Please tell me about
thoughts after we talk towards the end. But let's talk about the Motherhood. So that sounds like a cult, but it kind of
does
in a way.
And I think this is more of like the realm of which you're like, okay, let's get Haley on to talk about this.
Yeah.
Not because I personally am a mother. It's more that I am like a reality TV person.
Yeah. So the Motherhood, and this is a show where like Connie Britton wants to help single moms. And so she's like, it's kind of like Queer Eye, but for moms.
The straightest version of Queer Eye possible.
Right. But just in the sense they have somebody for clothes, somebody for for somebody for design, somebody for, all the sort of the different facets of being a mom, I guess. And they pick one person that's sort of that they're going to help, and they try to kind of help her in all the different aspects of her life. And so our first episode is a mom who's a professor. Her name's Tasha. Tasha and Busy is the little girl's name. And they're gonna work on helping her. And the theme of this episode, I don't know if it's the theme of the whole show, this is a pilot, but that flamingos give up their pink for their little ones.
So what was this episode? Finding Her Pink. The episode was called Finding Her Pink. And I messaged this to you, which was that this station, this TV programmer needs somebody on their team. And I know we lean into family friendly on this station. Totally fine.
Right.
They need one person with like a slightly dirty mind to be like, hey, actually, that's probably not a title we should use.
That's fair. Yes.
Just like one person to be like,
yeah, that's
like, I get what they were going for here, but like the fact that
we could help you so much. We could help you with finding Mr. Christmas. Available. We could help you with your movies. We could help you so much. We're both available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was a hard that
That's
was like
fair.
me pressing the play button. I was like, oof, what are we doing here? The
Yeah.
show, I appreciate that Hallmark is trying to enter the reality TV sphere.
Yeah.
I loved Finding Mr. Christmas. I had a great time watching
Yeah.
this.
That
I
was
think that
fun.
this show in particular is maybe not made for my demographic. Um,
Mhm.
a cat
Well,
lady.
yeah, you don't have
Um,
any kids, and
I don't
so
have any kids, and
yeah.
the show made me panic a little bit because, like, when people are like, "Well, Haley, why don't you have kids?" It's like, this is why. Like, I don't want the mess. Like, I don't
Yeah,
want children.
there's
I don't want
there's
kids' toys in my living room. I like my living room.
there's definitely like a birth control component to this show. Like you could show it to teens to scare them.
Yeah, and like I I really appreciate this concept. I think it's like really important to like show women that it is still important to like live your life in a multifaceted way. Like motherhood is important, and like of course it's such a huge part of your identity when you have children, but also like you can have a hobby. Like it's totally chill to have a hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have Connie Britton as the host. Yeah, who I do feel like there's a pretty big get for this random reality
Huge.
show.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. And then Destiny Ann is the parenting coach. Taryn Hicks is the style and self-love expert. That's what they named her. And then
Ooh.
Angela Rose is the DIY and home specialist. So what do you think of this crew that they've assembled?
I like what they're going for here.
Mhm.
Um, I think they could be pushier.
Yeah. I mean, the
I
only
think they should be like look in the mirror and like the one. This is I'm not judging. I get everyone has their own path and blah blah blah. But when Tasha was like, "Yeah, Busy hasn't spent a night in her own room since she was born," and our parenting expert was like, cool. Yeah. No, you're not codependent. No, that's not the word I would use, but maybe we should stray away from those
yeah, they
actions.
really moved away from that codependent word. I mean, I have actually read some articles and studies about the idea of the family bed and it actually being like a somewhat healthy, it can be a healthy aspect of parenting. But I think that when she is literally having an anxiety attack about an evening away and the child is with her grandmother, it's not like she's with a stranger or anything. I feel like there should have been a moment where these people said, I think we need some like professional counseling.
Yeah, and I love that
There's
the
nothing wrong with
hairstyle.
that. Like
No,
canceling,
yeah,
I'm a huge fan. That's no problem. I don't
and
know.
I
I
love
just feel
that the
like that would help them both a lot.
yeah. I thought the hairstylist made the most apt point of like, hey, I know you're not like paying me to like give you advice, but you just got to keep practicing this because like it's a skill set basically to like
Yeah,
have them be on their own like
that's
that.
true.
I was like, hairstylist, you're thinking. I like you, and
Yeah.
I like that we had like the dinner table, and we're like, this is our what is it called? Then that's the motherhood. Then what are the advisors called? Like the neighborhood somethings
Oh,
neighborhood. I can't
I
remember,
didn't
but
write
like
that down. I just wrote down their names. I didn't write down the name of the crew, but yeah, it was like a yeah.
and I like
Um
that one part of the episode we brought like one of the other girlies from the motherhood collective to like uh
about the
to run.
running.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
about the
thought that
running.
was like I was like, oh, okay, we're bringing like what the concept of the show is together, which is like to create a supportive network so that you can keep going
Especially
with the
because
love and
that was
feeling.
something she used to enjoy. She used to
Yeah,
enjoy running half marathons. And uh, I mean, especially like having a child all by yourself. And it seems like it was a somewhat isolated. I mean, her family, she has her parents or her mom living nearby. And so there's some support, but still, like being by yourself with a child would be insane. And you're not going to be running probably half marathons
yeah,
during that
for sure.
time. But now the child, she seemed pretty old. I forget if she said how old, but
Like five, like I think she was like 5 or
5 or
6. So
6. Yeah.
yeah.
That maybe it's time to start introducing some of those things that you used to love. Like you can't
Yeah.
always be in survival mode all the time.
Yeah, you just
You
like
know?
wreak havoc on your nervous system. And I think just
Yeah.
like she just seemed overwhelmed. And I'm glad that this hopefully can push her in the right direction.
Yeah. And there was a big thing about the label on the coat rack that it said she wanted to just it said mom, and they changed it to say Tasha, which is interesting. So she's been like branding herself as just a mom, and that she could be more than that. Because nobody wants, like, whatever your job is, like nobody wants to be completely defined by that.
No.
So if you're a mom, if you're a teacher, if you're whatever, like you want to be more,
Yeah.
whatever it is. In her case, she's a professor and a mom. What do you think of their makeover that they gave to her?
I thought like when she entered the party, like I was like taken aback with how beautiful she
Yeah.
looked. Like she looked incredible. And they didn't make her look like not herself. She just it, she looked great. I thought that pink color was great on
Yeah, it was
her.
cute.
I love what they did to the house. I think that was really beautiful. And I think um Busy's bedroom, I feel like, is exactly what kind of bedroom you'd want at that age. Like it was so cool. I really liked what she did,
Yeah.
like what they did with that.
Yeah, her daughter had never used the bedroom was just a storage area, and so they were able to make it a usable space, which is good.
And
And
probably will like make her want to use that bedroom more.
it was also I was impressed with how involved Connie Britton actually was,
Yeah, me
because
too.
I thought she just going to be like maybe even just a narrator. I didn't even know, like, if she would be really involved, but no, she was there. And I love that scene where Busy is putting all the bows on. That was cute. I was like, oh.
Like, Busy, you don't even know who this is.
But yeah, I think it was a nice, if you're looking for this kind of show to make you
Yeah.
feel good, and it's
Yeah, I think this is very much in line with a big portion of Hallmark's demographics. So I think it's
yeah.
like a really brilliant move to have a show like this.
I think it's a little bit of a shame that they are only celebrating single moms. I think it could have been a chance to like celebrate all different kinds of moms. Like, what if you had like a military mom, and you had like you had a like mom with a lot of kids, or you had, I mean, just all different kinds of moms. Like, I don't
Yeah.
really see why only single moms.
Yeah, and like if they did like a season 2 or 3, like it would be interesting to kind of open up the motherhood,
Yeah.
shall we say.
Yeah. I think so. Like, have a stay-at-home mom and her own, like, all the different unique burdens.
Yeah, like
and
a mom who's like a primary caretaker of like a child with special needs, or like
yes.
like somebody like who like has a spouse who's ill, or like just like
all different kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
caring
so.
for an aging parent as well as like their children,
And then they have they have a party at the end, which is fun. And the one part of the makeover that did make me laugh when she was like, I like sweaters. I don't know why I thought that was funny.
Like, babe, we all like sweaters.
Yeah. So if I was giving this like a 1 to 5 for what it's trying to be, I would give it like a 3.5.
Yeah, like I don't know if I'm going to continue on watching this, but I appreciate that it is made for somebody.
Yeah. And they gave a lot of like ideas too about like having the different bins for the donate and the sell, and good for Busy for being like open to it. I was surprised. I thought she was gonna have a moment, but she was
I'm
fine.
a bit more of a hoarder, if you can see, if you're watching the video. Yeah. I know. Earlier I was like, oh, all the stuffed animals. Well, I don't want kids' toys in my living room. And like, I have like all of these stuffies in the background. Those are my stuffies. They're my adult stuffies.
They're not going to go in the donate bin.
No, nobody's going to touch them. They're not going to get gross.
Well, don't worry, you're not a single mom, so you can't be on this show. So we won't nominate you.
Thank God.
So there we go. Let us know what you think of the show. I admittedly am not that like up to date on these kinds of shows. Like there's not that much reality TV that I have watched over the years. There's a few follow the people around type shows, not even that many of those, but I did watch Sister Wives for many years, and I did watch The Duggars for quite a while. But other than that, I've watched that many. So
Ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
right. Well, let's dive into Love in the Clouds. This movie, it was directed by Larry A. McLean, writer Lisa Hepner, stars Paul Green and Mackenzie Westmore, Lorenzo Lamas, and Gail O'Grady. And it's romantic comedy between a balloon pilot and a media personnel in New Mexico during the hot air balloon fiesta. Now, I normally don't like to do a whole episode where I'm just kind of dragging a movie. That's just not really my style. Like we've done a couple really sarcastic ones, but I usually try to avoid that. But I feel like it would be disingenuous of me to say almost anything positive about this film. Like there was really almost nothing that worked, and it just didn't work. The casting was really off. The dialogue was so clunky. The green screens was laughable. The
chemistry between the leads was tough. I think you and I both agreed that really like the only positive part was like the side storyline of the intern and the other intern falling in love.
That was
I thought the parents storyline was odd. I think it was just to have like Lorenzo Lamas here, like because it felt really disjointed. And like I'm good at being able to suspend my disbelief and like taking things for what they are. This was tough. This one was tough for me. Yeah. One thing I appreciate that we had like some older leads that like this is not their like first chance at love, and I think that's like a fun lane to explore. What I will say is that everything else was absurd.
Yeah, I mean, if I was really reaching, I'd say like some of the attempts to kind of bring in New Mexico was nice.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that this was an advertisement for Tourism New Mexico. Yeah. Like there's no other way. Like it was it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there were some nice moments in that, I guess, but that would have even been better if it had been cast differently. Just the casting was so off. Nobody had chemistry. Nobody felt right for their roles. It wasn't like swooning at all. You weren't like
I wasn't like particularly intrigued by our balloon lead man. Like, no. Okay, where do I start?
Like I thought Paul Green, he has been good and swoony in some of these movies. I've seen it, but this was just not working at all. Especially when he gets all annoyed at her and gets all offended, and you're just like, you didn't have a conversation. You just heard like half of a conversation. Like no human being would do that and be like, I'm actually interested in this woman. I think I might be, and you overhear half of a conversation. You wouldn't have like one conversation with them to be like, what were you
hey,
talking about? Why did you say that?
Yeah, I despise the communication,
Yeah.
the miscommunication trope. Like I'm more of a reader than I am a movie watcher, but a lot of the books I read are in the same vein of like a Hallmark movie. Right. So I hate the miscommunication trope where it's just like, if you would have said one sentence to each other, we could have figured this all out.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I love a direct communication. Like I love a direct communication. I like knowing what's up, but
like I've seen it done where it was kind of fun, like this eavesdropping or whatever, but like usually they fix it, clear it up real quick, and that was not the case here. And it just made his character unlikable, and I was already not liking him, and they had absolutely no chemistry together. And the idea that these two people were supposed to be his parents was absurd.
Because our Brooklyn and the mother looked exactly alike. Like when we had a scene with like both of them at once, I was like, who's who? Which one's which? Like they looked exactly the same.
And so Mackenzie Westmore, she played the lead. I've never seen her before in anything. She is 48 years old. Gail O'Grady, who played the mom, who's actually done some good Hallmark stuff in the past, she is 62. So there is some difference, but not enough. They looked very similar. Yeah. And I'm trying to say this in a way that's not offensive because I usually don't comment on people's appearances because I think that's mean. But the way that they were made up and their faces made them even look more similar.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. I think so. I think very much so.
I don't think that the makeup did them favors.
Yeah.
Either of them. So
no, but honestly, like I did not like the balloon guy. I hated his father.
Yeah.
His father, I'm just like, let's solve your own problem. Get a hobby. Go back to work. Yeah. Don't retire. Like we have options.
Right. So he's retired and bored.
Okay, get a hobby.
Get a hobby, volunteer.
This is the perfect opportunity for New Mexico to show off their beautiful golf courses or like, I don't know, a swimming pool, truly anything.
Yeah, run for office. Like just do something like that.
Work at a food bank, like help somebody. Yeah. I don't know. Just stop like bullying your wife because you're bored.
Like you could literally just like start being an extra in movie. Like there's a billion things that you could do if you're bored that you could do that would be fun or help the community or help people. There you could be in a play. Like there's just no end to the list, of stuff you could do.
Yeah, I don't except the only thing you have to do is polishing brass. And I'm confused about like the mother because we hear that she is like one of the first female balloon pilots, but I feel like she kind of scoffed at that and was like, "Well, my dream was to be like a teacher or something, but I couldn't be a teacher." I'm like, "You can be a teacher, but you could be a balloon operator? Like what? What happened? Like maybe it was like some weird script writing that they meant to edit out and they didn't, and they filmed it and they put it in the movie."
Yeah. Well, even worse, in my opinion, than the parents, which were bad, was her boss and associate at work. Like
cartoonishly bad. Nobody talks like this. Nobody does. We just need a sensational, entertaining 5 to 7 minute segment. And it's like, oh, she's wearing glasses. She's the bad girl. Yeah. Like, she's the villain.
Yeah.
She's the mean girl who never leaves work.
People talk in this movie the way like nobody talks. Like it was so clunky. She says things like that. I know there's someone special for me. I've just got to find them. And then he tells the boss, personal life is off limits. And
like why would you just say that out like personal life? Like why we're doing 5 minutes on you
in her personal life if you're a balloon guy, like
And the boss is like, there's a story here. Like, he's hiding something. Like, who gives an F? Sorry for my slice. Who cares? Who cares what this balloon operator in Albuquerque is hiding? You're a news program in Seattle. Who cares?
And her assistant on the first day says, I think there's something here. I think there's love in the air. I'm like, what?
Where? I can't find it. Where is it?
Yeah.
And our hero Brooklyn has two strikes against her at work because she keeps adding puns to her work, or like her scripts, or I'm not sure. And she's like a business reporter, but what she really wants is to be a lifestyle reporter.
Yeah.
Like, this one in particular felt like they just picked things from a hat and was like, we have a plot.
She's not a lifestyle reporter, but they want something sensational,
for the business reporting. Like, what are we doing
about his personal life? But she's a hopeless romantic,
and he doesn't believe in love.
He's never been in love. Yeah.
He's never been in love, but like, we find out later down the line, like, oh, did you see those two people walk by who I didn't say hi to? And she was like, yeah, of course. I'm like, what do you mean? And then he was like, well, that was my best friend and my ex-fiance, and they fell in love. And it's like, I get why she left you. I do.
I do too. And it's just that
I bet you regularly said to her that Valentine's Day was created by Hallmark to sell cars. Like, I bet he's the type of guy to say that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Jared's passion for hot air balloon riding makes me almost want to go up in one. He's just such a nice guy doing what he loves. I mean, come on, like.
And he was late to meeting them. He was like, oh, I got caught up doing stuff. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And so she like goes up to like it was like a hike or whatever. And then she starts hyperventilating about the heights. And he's like,
I thought they were in the balloon fear. When they were doing this.
Rise above your fear.
I'm not going to rise above my fear of heights. I'm not going to. Don't make me. I'm not going to do it. Don't make me. I don't want to. Oh. There's a reason. There's a reason my body feels fear.
You have to say it better than that. I mean, it's just too much. It's too corny. And then we have, she has 24 hours to get something to her boss on the pilot. And we get this scene where they go out to a Mexican restaurant. And he face wipes her. He's like, oh, look, you got a spot on your... And I was like...
The way I would accidentally, like, hit off. I'd be like, don't touch me. When we got to the scene, I went, oh my God, did I accidentally start the Chili's movie again?
Like, that movie shouldn't be a lot better than this. But... That's where we're at.
It was gold. I had a great time.
It was way better, way more fun, way more campy, way more ridiculous, and only 15 minutes.
Honestly, I watched 15 minutes of this movie, and I was like, this has been the longest 15 minutes of my life. And then I watched the other hour of it.
He says a happy wife, happy life is a secret to a good marriage. And then you have to be happy and fulfilled in yourself before being happy in a relationship. Like, all those are true things, but that's not the way human beings talk. They don't talk in catchphrases. They don't talk.
Like, this guy's old. He should have learned that.
Yeah.
He should have learned that like 45 years ago.
It feels like at the school that I'm currently working at, they have, particularly in the bathroom, they have these really annoying signs about like, if like 15 kids called you mom, you know, you're a teacher or whatever. And I don't know, I just find them really patronizing and annoying. I'm not a teacher, I'm just an assistant, but it felt like that was this whole script, was those kind of like, so it's kind of hang on there, baby.
Very much
catchphrases. Like, that's not a script. Like, people don't talk in catchphrases. They don't speak that way.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
I really do want to see the spinoff of the two interns, though.
Yeah,
I thought they were charming and adorable, and they had great chemistry.
I could have used way more of them. way less.
Yeah, if we had like, if we would have had like a dual storyline going on.
Yeah.
Or like a triple storyline of like the parents falling back in love, these two falling in love, and then also these two like had crushing on each other. Like that would have been kind of like a fun through line, and then we wouldn't have had to spend as much time with our main couple.
Yeah, I mean, like in the end when he's like, but I'm in Seattle, and he's like, I like Seattle. Yeah, see,
I know. I was like, cute. Yes,
that was
fun.
And
then so that brings us to I don't know where Brooklyn put this like video up, or like maybe the intern did it, of like them falling in love, and that was the story, and it went viral. And then the boss calls and she's mad about it for some reason, even though that's what she wanted. So she's like, you get one more chance. And Brooklyn's like, no, I quit. And she's like, I don't have a job. But it's okay, because 30 seconds later, guess who calls her?
Literally the next like 30 seconds later.
She's like, I've got to hang up with you, former boss. We're not friends anymore. I hate you. Oh, yeah. I have another call. Hello? Station in Albuquerque, conveniently enough, you have a lifestyle editor position available. Yeah. Oh, and you're giving it to me with no interview whatsoever based on one clip you saw online. Great. And it's and it's in the same town as my new hot air balloon boyfriend. Yeah. I'm in. No, I don't need to know anything about this company. I'm in. That's what that was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, it was literally the next moment. I don't even know if it was 30 seconds. This episode of the podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/Hallmarkies and get on your way to being your best self. Mental health awareness is growing, but there's still progress to be made. 26% of Americans who participated in a recent survey say they have avoided seeking mental health support due to fear of judgment. I know in my late 20s, I was going through a pretty tough time, and I was very grateful to be able to talk to a therapist and to get the help that I needed. BetterHelp has over 10 years of experience matching people with the right therapist from their diverse network of more than 30,000 licensed therapists with a wide range of specialties. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. You can easily switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. We're all better with help. Visit betterhelp.com/Hallmarkies to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Hallmarkies. Risk, and it paid off. Thank you for showing me that I don't want to work for you. I quit. I mean, I love a dramatic quit. That's one of my favorite things in life. But it was just all too telegraphed and too corny and too like I didn't even get joy out of the epic quit. You know?
No, because I was almost like slightly rooting for the boss.
Yes. The green screen was so unpardonably bad. Like if it's gonna look that bad, just don't do it. Don't do the scene in the like. It would have been better to just had them like getting onto the balloon and just having a scene on the ground in the balloon. You know, of like, and then cut. That would have been a million times better than.
But how would we have had the proposal scene where the other balloon is up there with a "Will you marry me" sign on it? Yeah. I thought we couldn't like control where balloons went.
Didn't they have a whole thing where they were talking about that?
Where they
like you can't control the landing. It might be kind of rough.
Don't sign me up for that. Actually, I kind of want to do it. Like I kind of want to be up.
I would. I would definitely throw up. It would be
I'm afraid of heights. I can't even like look over the edge of like a staircase.
I'm not afraid of heights, but my stomach is
okay. Heights. That's fair. That's so fair.
I know that like kind of motion. I would not do well. I went up in a glider plane once. That was a huge mistake. Did not well. So yeah, not for me. I did like the drone light show. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was cute. I do think this festival sounds fun. Is it a real festival? It has to be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Very cool. I like that. I love the visual of like all the hot air balloons in the air. I love the explanation of like why this specific place works.
It's really too bad that they couldn't have actually filmed at the festival and couldn't have actually filmed them up in the balloon. I mean, that would have made I'm not gonna say it would have made it good, but it would have made it better. But yeah,
this was a tough one. Yeah, this one was tough. I would, if this sounds terrible, but I do think that this is like the worst one you've made me watch. And like,
just saying something, all those candy cane movies. This is where,
but at least those are like, they don't take themselves that seriously.
Yes.
Like, we know what that is. We know what that is made for. This one took itself very seriously. Yeah. And I think that was my like main problem with it. It was like,
it's true.
I'm committed to this bit.
They're constantly talking in all these catchphrases meant to be inspirational. And I'm like, it's not inspirational if it doesn't come from anywhere. If it doesn't feel authentic to the characters, it just feels patronizing. It doesn't feel, inspirational.
Yeah, I don't think I giggled one time.
No.
I just like didn't care. I just didn't care about them.
Yeah, it was really bad. And yeah, when he gets all fussy with her, like that was just annoying.
Like the way I would leave this guy immediately. Like as soon as he started giving me an attitude after I've known him for 6 business days, I'm out.
Yeah, because Paul Green can be likable. I've seen it. He can be a good lead in these movies, but they just gave him such clunky writing and they didn't develop his character well. I say that I think this was very poorly cast, but I actually, as I say that, I don't think there's anything any of these actors could have done to have saved this movie. They were poorly cast, but it's not like if this had Matthew McConaughey and Reese Witherspoon, all of a sudden it's going to be a great film. Like it's not.
Yeah.
So, you win some, you lose some. What are you gonna do? And then we get the "Will you marry me" on the balloon. But I mean, really, this for me is one of the worst Hallmark movies that I have ever reviewed on this podcast.
That's crazy to me.
Really bad. Almost all of them have something that I
like, you're good at finding the positive in things.
I try. I really do. This was just bad. And it did remind me of during the pandemic when they were really digging for some releases. There were some ones that they would not have released otherwise, because they were desperate. It felt like that. In fact, there was a hot air balloon movie during the pandemic released that's an all-time bad one that this one might even be worse than that, because that movie,
at least they had an excuse.
Well, and they had an excuse, and at the end of the movie, it's so bizarre. At the end of the movie, they literally just like her and her best friend just like switch partners. They were like, well, I think I want to date you and you date my great, let's just do that. End of the movie.
I'm obsessed. Okay, I need to send me that link. I want that one.
I think it's Romance in the Air, I think is what it's called. Something like that.
Like it's just like the same title, just like synonyms.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think maybe they avoid hot air balloons in the future. Like let's find a different mode of transportation. Maybe not a submarine, but maybe like a yacht.
I can imagine that they are hard to shoot in because they're so small. So getting the photographer, the cinematographer, getting everybody in there, like that's got to be tough. Plus, they're loud.
Yeah,
you got to do everything ADR. You got to I can imagine that it's a tough environment. That's why I think honestly, it would have just been better to just film it we're just about to go, and then you see them maybe up there, but no dialogue, no, just from the ground, you see, oh, there's somebody up there. Yeah. That would have worked better. I give this 1 crown.
Wow.
Yeah, this was really bad. So, do you agree? Are you?
Yeah, this was probably my least favorite one that I've ever watched.
Yeah, which again, is saying something because I feel like I'm not a good friend to you. I'm sorry.
I love it. It's so fun. I just have a good time here.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Instead of watching this movie, you should watch Nonnas on Netflix. And all of you listening should watch Nonnas. This was
Please tell me about it.
Very sweet movie. I know you will love it because not only is it super sweet, but it's also a super foodie movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That really does appeal to me.
Yeah. So Vince Vaughn, he plays this man. His mother has passed away. He's grieving. He's really struggling. Well, he gets some inheritance and he's like, what to do with this? Because I don't want to just waste it. I want it to be something that she would like, that she would care about. So on a whim, he decides to buy this restaurant in, I forget if it's Long Island or Staten Island, I think is where it is. Anyway, Staten Island. Yeah, in Staten Island, he buys this restaurant space and it needs like a lot of updating. And Joe Manganiello plays his brother. Or best friend or whatever. Yeah, really good cast. And so he decides this. He has these great memories of his Nonna and making her Sunday gravy, and he can't figure out how she made the Sunday gravy so good. But cooking with his Nonna, and so he decides that he's going to hire these Nonnas that he knows, and they're going to make authentic Nonna food, Italian food. And so it's just this really sweet story about them trying to, renovate this restaurant and trying to start it. And everybody's like, what are you, crazy? Why are you doing this? And this is a terrible investment. And the Nonnas, you've got Susan Sarandon, who's the pastry chef. And so she's fun. You've got Susan Sarandon. She's the pastry chef. You've got Talia Shire. She's a former nun who is one of the cooks. Brenda Vaccaro and Lorraine Bracco.
Wasn't Lorraine Bracco in The Sopranos?
Yes.
Or something along those lines?
Yes. And so she's fun. Linda Cardellini
I like her.
Yeah, so she was his prom date, but he kind of stood her up, and so there's some bad blood there, but still a lot of chemistry, and it's cute and really cute. And he has this letter from his mom, the last thing she gave to him, and he doesn't want to open it because it's the last thing. That'll be the last conversation he ever has. And it was just really sweet. And, I said that I think I should write a whole book on what I call nice movies. Mm-hmm. Now, there's the kind of movie that people dismiss as trite, as silly, as, whatever, predictable. Those are the words that you hear. But I love nice movies. I love nice movies that make you feel something, that remind you of happy times in your life, about good people, doing good things. And
and I find personally, I can't really delve into dramas or anything like that because I have a hard time not getting really feeling it on the inside and having it be part of me. And so I like these happy movies and happy books so that it just makes my brain feel good, and it helps me get less overwhelmed by the crushing nature of simply existing.
Yeah.
As a high anxiety girl.
Yeah. The only thing about this movie is don't eat it on an empty stomach. You will be in rough shape because everything looks so delicious. All the food looks so good.
Yeah, and I think I might actually be able to get my husband to watch this movie because he loves Vince Vaughn.
Oh yeah, and he's so sweet. He's very endearing in this role. So yeah, I think he'll like it. It's one of those movies that I watched it and I just think, who couldn't like this? It's a little too long. It shouldn't be. I think it would be better at like 90 minutes. It's almost 2 hours.
I think every movie should be shorter. That is my favorite. That was my favorite thing about Love in the Clouds. It was an hour 15.
Yeah, that's fair.
Keep it high and tight. I love it.
And so that would be the critique I would give, is that it could be a little tighter. But it was just a really nice movie. And I know that the Hallmarkies will love it. So, it's PG, doesn't have anything like anything offensive at all. And just a nice family story that will make you laugh, that'll make you tear up a little bit, his dealing with his grief of his mom and everything. And so I highly recommend it. I think it was an unexpected gem, because a lot of times these movies on Netflix are rough. So the fact this was as good as it was a real surprise and a real winner for them. The best Netflix movie that's not like an Oscar baity one, that they do that in quite a while.
I love that. I will definitely add it to my list. And I'm glad that you at least watched one movie this week you liked.
Yes, I'm glad. So the people know I'm not just like a Grinch. Because that's, I always say, I know it's hard. It's tough. But, we also have to be honest with how we react.
You're not going to come on here and be like, it was good, just to and have your listeners not trust your judgment anymore.
Exactly. Then they watch it and they're like mad at me. It's like, what?
Yeah.
They won't be mad at me for watching Nonnas. It is just so sweet. So there we go. That is my thoughts on that. And thank you for doing this. This was a lot of fun. I always have a good time no matter what we're talking about. So thank you very much. And what are you doing right now? I guess Top Chef?
Top Chef right now. So if you love food, if you love Top Chef, you can check out my season coverage of Top Chef over on the Reality TV Wrap-Ups podcast on the Rob Has a Podcast network. We are doing Top Chef Canada this season, which is really exciting for me personally as a Canadian. And I got to go to Restaurant Wars, one of the challenges this year. Yeah, so it was
was it good?
It was good. We left very hungry. Like, we were starving.
Oh.
But it was good, and it was like a dream come true for me. It was awesome. I will not complain about it. And then Bachelor in Paradise, I think, is starting up in July, ? So if the Bachelor franchise is something that interests you, that coverage will be coming out this summer as well. And then I am a big reader. I have a Bookstagram account at the Strong Library. A lot of the books I read and review there are books that are in line with Hallmark movies. So
I have to ask you, did you like the new Emily Henry?
I liked it. I didn't love it as much as I have loved other Emily Henry books. I say I really didn't like it. I really didn't like the anytime they went back to the old story, I thought was really weak and really boring. But when it was just the two of them and they were bantering, it was like pretty fun. It was cute. It was,
but like, I thought fun, the big reveal was so obvious from the.
Yeah, I thought so too. And like, it just didn't feel as classic Emily Henry, where like we enjoyed the banter bits, but because half of the book was taken up by Margaret, is that her name? Margaret
Margot,
Story?
I think it was Margot.
And like we didn't get as much build. Like, I wasn't as satisfied with it because we didn't get as much with the two mains. And like, I think it's that I don't love her even numbered books as much as I love her odd numbered books.
Ooh, that's interesting theory. I have to check that out. Yeah, because I liked her last one quite a bit, but I just wonder if maybe don't make a book every year. Maybe it's pushing you a little. I don't know.
I think it's the ones that she does like time jump backs. I don't love as much.
Yeah. Especially,
but I love Book Lovers. Like that's one of my all-time favorite books. I love a funny story. I got my husband to read Book Lovers this month, and he actually like quite enjoyed it. Like he thought it was really good and bantery and like funnier than he was expecting. So I can't wait to make him read Funny Story, because
this one was, I thought, a lot worse than anything else she's done. I don't know. I was just really bored for most of it.
I think like I think if it was a true 3.5 for me, where I was like, okay, I had a good time reading it. I was like happy to read it. I was happy to pick it up. I finished it in like a day. But it's not necessarily a reread for me. Like I've since Funny Story came out last year, I've read it 4 times. Like I've read Book
Funny
Lovers
Story
a bunch.
Was good.
A beach read I really loved, but this one wasn't quite top notch for me. I'm trying to think of what books I really, really loved this year. I'm excited to read the new Carly Fortune one. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look what else.
Let me see what else I liked.
I really like, what series I really liked, and I think the listeners of Hallmarkies would really enjoy it, is the like Sarah Adams series, like the Rome, Kentucky ones, like When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect, and Beg, Borrow, and Steal. Those are like really fun, like clean romances that like I really enjoyed.
Okay, what's that called again?
The first one is When in Rome.
Oh, that sounds good.
They're really nice.
Well, what's my favorite that I've read this year? I liked 2 books by Rebecca Connolly. She does Regency or Victorian.
I love Regency.
Yeah. I liked both of the ones I read from her that were good. A fun little book called So True a Love by Joanna Barker. That's another Regency. That was fun. I have been doing a bunch of nonfiction that have been, because I like audiobooks, often nonfiction, because you don't have to worry about like the plot as much. And the book about Princess Bride, As You Wish, that one's really good. I did a book by memoir from Andrew Lloyd Webber, one about Rodgers and Hammerstein. So that was interesting.
That's so fun.
A great read, if you can stomach it, is this book called Fight, about this last presidential election. It is, your mouth will be agape at that this happened and they allowed this to happen. And it's written in a very readable way, a very narrative, very engrossing way. Very good. And then, a bunch of people that I've had on the podcast, most of the reading I've done, and I enjoyed all of them. C'est La Vie by Kelsey Whitney, The Silver Lining, Audrey Lancho. That one was like more emotional and has like a big reveal that actually I think works pretty good. The Summer of Starting Over, that was like cute. Rom-com, Savannah Carlyle, If Tomorrow Never Comes, Allison Ashley, all these people for the podcast. So the listeners know, because I talked to them. Welcome to the Honeybee and Bee, Melody Carlson, and The Nature of Love. Zoe Brennan, you might like this one. Zoe Brennan, First Crush. It's pretty spicy, but she was on the podcast, and that one's cute. So yeah, it's been pretty fun reading. But yeah, I was disappointed by Emily Henry. It didn't do it for me.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
So anyway, let us know what you think. What you think of these movies that we talked about? What you think of Motherhood? What you think of these books? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section or on Twitter. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, the Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really, really appreciate that. It helps people find us. if we get more and more ratings and reviews on iTunes. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 10K. We're getting so close. Please subscribe. And we have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything that we're doing. And we have monthly patron events, watch-alongs, Q&As. We have a really fun one planned with writer Zach Hug is going to be joining us for a Q&A in June. So that's going to be really fun. So you definitely want to be signed up for the Patreon. We have bonus episodes, we have early episodes. We really try to make it worth your while. And then we have our merch store where we have tons of fun Hallmark inspired merch. So check that out. And thanks again. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.